So now we move to the age of majority. There are three touch points in the will, in an Australian will. So you could set an age of majority for the executor clause. So we suggested you for your little baby children, your toddlers, we still put in 18, even though have made their beneficiary clause at say 21, which we haven't come to yet. That's the first touch point for executors for age majority. The second one is the general age majority. So it deals with all beneficiaries. We can change that for a particular beneficiary a bit later, but at the moment, this is the general age majority, and most people will put in 18 or leave it at 18. It's the youngest age in Australia that a person can get control of your wealth as a beneficiary when you're dead. Professor Davies, but what happens if my children are only 6 months old? Well, we've got a maintenance trust in the will, and the maintenance trust will allow the executors to drip feed money to the child, for the school fees or to a guardian, whoever that may be. So I'm going to leave it at 18. What's that? You don't like 18? You want to make it 21? Yeah, fair enough. You can type in 21, which means that no beneficiary can get their interest until they're 21. What's that? Your children are pretty dopey and you don't think they're going to reach maturity into their 40. All right, well, let's put in 40 for a minute. Now, I don't like that. And I don't like it because you are forgetting that someone has to look after the money. So in this instance, you've set the age of majority to 25, and Uncle Frank is looking after the money. That's a big burden. I'm going to repeat this. Looking after someone else's money is a big burden. And that uncle is going to have to go off because they're scared, because when your children turn 18, they can challenge the decisions of the executors. It's not being executors not without risk. And that's why generally the best beneficiaries are the best executors are the beneficiaries. So your children can challenge what the executor has been doing at 18 years of age, even though you've put an age of majority in at 40. But during that time, the poor uncle has to look after your children's money, that wealth. There's land tax on one of your properties. There's some problems with one of the assets, the balance share portfolio or something has gone wrong. There's a lot of work. So you glibly typed in 40 years of age and now expect your uncle, who's probably dead of old age themselves, you've got dementia, you're now expecting that person to look after your greedy little children's money. The uncle's got his own problems. So by all means, make it 40, but at the end of the day, someone has to look after that money, and that is a very expensive thing to do. Now, obviously, if one of the children's a spendthrift, then there's a valuable reason to change the age majority. So let's change it back to 18 for a minute. And then let's have a look at one child being difficult. So here in this example, Luke is a level-headed carpenter, and Luke's, I'm not sure if Lee is a boy or a girl. I don't know the spelling, but let's say Lee is a boy. Luke's younger brother is a gadabout medical doctor and spendthrift, which is not an unusual circumstance for many high-paid professional people. Brilliant, like professors. They very clever, but not necessarily good with money. Now, in this instance, we will be dialing up the age of majority for Lee, but not in this question, because this question is the general age of majority, because we don't want to damage Luke. When Luke turns 18, he's a level-headed person. He shouldn't be punished with his brother, Dr. Lee. So we'll leave it at 18, and we'll come back to Lee and make it 25 or something in a later question. All children are already old enough, we'll just leave it at 18. It's a legal requirement you put an age of majority in. You don't have any children? Look, we're just using the term children to simplify the concepts, but it could be a nephew, niece, or just or friends, a group of friends you're leaving money to, or the church or a charity. Should you tell your should you tell your executors how to look after the money? No, don't do that. The money is to be looked after by the executors. They don't need someone from the grave telling them to maintain a share portfolio in BHP, which doesn't exist anymore. It's now BHP Billiton, or move money, keep money in an advanced bank, but advanced bank changed its name. We're now going to move to specific gifts.